Saibhai, let's talk about that performance by India. At the end, the way India batted, the way Pakistan has batted, the Indian bowlers have bowled. I'll get into the specifics a little later, but fair to say that it was, only one team that turned up on the day, and that was India.
You could say that because even yesterday, when the play was abandoned because of rain, India was on top. Their openers had put up a century partnership, and then Kohli and Rahul were just taking guard when the rains came down. So yesterday was dominated by India. Today, completely, totally dominated by India with the bat as well as with the ball. Absolutely fantastic performance. India's biggest win. So it just tells you what an impressive performance it was from the Indian team.
Sahiba, that started a lot of debate now on social media and per se, because remember that game that finished in Kandy, 266 what India had got. I know different grounds, but Sri Lanka nonetheless. And there were two schools of thought. Many thought, from the Indian side, 266 would have been a challenging total, probably a match-winning one. Then the others thought that no, in a one-day game, 266 is quite chaseable. Today, looking at the way the Indian bowlers have performed, is it fair to say that on that day in Kandy, 266 would have been very tough for this Pakistani batting lineup against this Indian bowling lineup?
Yes, look, in cricket, there is no ifs and buts. But looking at the way the Pakistanis batted today, it certainly looked as if India would have been able to defend 266 the other day if the game had carried on. People, particularly in Pakistan, keep on talking about India having just one or two players. I mean, how many players does Pakistan have, particularly as far as the batting is concerned? Apart from Babar, who do they have? Who do they really, I mean, when the bowling group of the opposition team sits down to dissect the Pakistani batting, then they would spend a lot of time on Babar, how to get him out, where to bowl to him, what sort of appeal to have to him. But for the others, I don't think they would spend even half that time because none of the others would be such that they will scare the bowling group of an opposition team. So clearly, I think Pakistan have a lot of work to do. They're going to beat Sri Lanka in their next game because India and Sri Lanka play tomorrow to qualify for the finals. Otherwise, they will be left catching the first flight back home.
Okay, lots of questions to come with Sunny Gavaskar. The first of that is Sunny Bhai, because you talk about quite often, it's spoken about, India and the players that India has, and you say this narrative is set probably from the Pakistan side that there are just one or two players that can help India win a game. Now we've seen the Indian 11 as such, whether it's the top order, the middle order, whether it's the spinner, whether it's the fast bowler, every one of them have chipped in. Is it a fair assessment? I'm going to assess the difference between Pakistan and the Indian team. Pakistan will win against India on a day that their fast bowlers do the trick for them. Only the day that their fast bowlers run through India's batting lineup is a day that Pakistan can win against this Indian team. But India, on the other hand, has many weapons. Whether it's the top order, a top order can win you a game, a middle order can win you a game, Indian fast bowlers can win you a game versus Pakistan, Indian spinners can win you a game against Pakistan. Is it fair to say that India have far more many weapons to win a game versus Pakistan than Pakistan has versus India?
Oh, definitely. And why are we talking about the fact that if Pakistani bowlers, new ball bowlers, dismiss India cheaply? Our new ball bowlers are capable of dismissing Pakistan cheaply, like we've seen today. Apart from Babar Azam, and India got him out quickly. Is there anybody else that the Indian team would be worried about? Yes, on a given day, some other batter could come to the fore as well. But for India, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, and KL Rahul are consistent performers. And the previous game's heroes, Ishan Kishan and Hardik Pandya, didn't come to bat. Ishan Kishan actually, when they showed the dugout, wasn't even padded up. So much confidence he had that his batting would not be required. And then when the bowling happened, look at what Bumrah bowled. Look at what Mohammad Siraj was doing with the ball. Look at what Hardik Pandya was doing. Amazing. And then Kuldeep coming in and bowling so brilliantly. I mean, look, all round the Indian team is definitely better. It's not even on a given day. On every day, from what we've seen so far in the tournament, India is a much better team.
Okay, that takes me to the other question, Sanibai. Since you point out that Babar Azam could be that one guy that you'd have to plan against, could be a crucial player for Pakistan. What do you make of that delivery that Hardik Pandya bowled to Babar Azam today? Fair to say, the best delivery you've seen so far in the tournament. I know Shaheen Shah Afridi bowled some good deliveries versus India the other day. This one, the one that jacked back in, completely perplexing a Babar Azam. What did you make of that ball?
Oh, it was a superb delivery. When he was releasing the ball with the seam pointing towards slips, it looked as if it is going to be one of those outswingers. But quite clearly, and this was not very evident even in slow motion replays, what Pandya would have done is given a flick with his index finger to get the ball not to go away from the batter, but to come back in. And I think seeing the seam as well, I think Babar Azam was also looking to play for the one that was going to be away from him. Brilliant delivery. I mean, you need a top-class delivery to get rid of a top-class batter like Babar Azam. And that was it. And you're right. So far, the delivery of the tournament, delivery of the Asia Cup.
Right, Hardik Pandya has been bowling with a lot of fire. It's not just the quality of delivery. In fact, looking at the speed gun, he's really cranking it up. Late 130, sometime hitting 140, the early 140s as well. And as Sunny Bhai just pointed out very in detail, that if you look at that seam from the hand, seems like it's going to be a ball that will seam out, but then it comes in. So we on replay are finding it tough to spot. Just put yourself in Babar Azam's shoes when he has to play it live, and then that is how he gets confused and that ball comes in. Absolutely impossible then for Hardik Pandya to really, impossible for Babar Azam to play that delivery by Hardik Pandya. A word on Kuldeep Yadav, Sunny Bhai. He's now slowly, just a few months ago, he wasn't even a certainty in India's playing 11. Slowly and gradually cementing his place in that 11, and right now, fair to say, one of the top wicket takers that you have in the Indian camps. Whenever you need a breakthrough, just give the ball to him, because a lot of batters that we've seen in the recent past are just not being able to read the ball out of his hand.
Yes, I think since he was dropped from the KKR team about 2 years ago, he's come back very well. He's bowling a lot quicker. So he's not giving the batter any time to go down the pitch to him. Earlier on, he was looping the ball just that little bit, and which allowed the batters to go down the pitch. Not anymore. He's bowling it flatter. He's mixing it well. He's bowling the googly. The googly is still, not recognized by a lot of top-class batsmen. And the one that spins away is one that is causing problems as well. He's got a good flipper. We saw him take a couple of wickets with the flipper today. So all in all, his confidence level is high. And I think that is so important with somebody like a Rohit Sharma who understands that a wrist spinner can sometimes be occasionally be expensive, but still giving him the bowling, still giving him the ball, still giving him the kind of attacking fields that are required. He's bowling with that much more confidence.
Okay, last couple of questions with you, Sunny Bhai, before we completely run out of time. One bit on KL Rahul. We spoke about his batting in the mid-innings. You were mighty impressed with the way he paced his inning and got that 100 after this long gap that he's had because of an injury. But what about his keeping? The fact that he gets 100 today in hot, humid conditions here in Sri Lanka, then comes out to keep as well for the entire duration of India's fielding, is that giving you a sign that he's completely fit? He's ready to be part of that Indian team for the World Cup, especially that test that you had on his fitness. If there was a place to really test it, Sri Lanka was the place in these hot, humid conditions. And has he passed that test?
Yes, because to come in to keep wickets, leave aside fielding after scoring 100, where you run between the wickets quite a lot, not just for your own runs, but for your partner's runs, just tells you how fit he is. Any question marks about his fitness, he has answered them the Harris Rauf way. That way. At the Harris Rauf send-off way, I mean.
Okay, Saibhai, final question before I let you go. India has to play a game in a few hours from now versus Sri Lanka. What do you expect? Should they be making a few changes, or they'll be fine? They'll be fine because this wasn't a full game. They played only half of it in terms of their batting, and also didn't have to bowl a full quota of 50 overs.
I think they'll be fine. I actually think that they should instead of Shardul Thakur, and Shardul Thakur has done nothing wrong. I think they should give Mohammad Shami. Also, they should include Mohammad Shami in place of Shardul Thakur because Hardik Pandya has bowled so well. So you've got three seam bowlers plus Hardik Pandya, three wicket-taking bowlers. So I would just say that because you also want Mohammad Shami to be in rhythm for the matches that are coming through. And it will not, with the way the top four batters have batted and Hardik Pandya, Ishan Kishan batting the way they did, I don't think the batting should be any worry at all. So maybe give Shami a chance in place of Shardul Thakur is what I would say. And before you let me go, I have a question for you. Oh, who was the one who was last, I think two days ago, you were saying, who was saying that India is afraid to play Pakistan? Who was it? You said somebody. You said
Sahiba,
somebody from Pakistan.
lots of people,
Somebody from
the
Pakistan
entire
was
Twitter.
was suggesting that India is afraid to play Pakistan. Who was it?
I completely agree with you, Sahiba. And that's exactly the discussion that we had. It was a trend in Pakistan Twitter. On Pakistan Twitter, that was a trend. And I'm glad that's why the full game could happen. And you could really see the difference between the two teams. In T20 cricket, I agree it's been very close. But when it comes to one-day cricket, there is a major gulf between the two teams. Not just on the basis of what we've seen today. Even in Kandy, many point out, on a bad day where the Indian top order was dismissed, they still got 266, which would have been very tricky. So I'm guessing that question is answered. As Sani Bhai also pointed out, many who were getting that to trend in Pakistan probably would be more cautious, would be more prudent.